Hello, say hi, let me know where you are. Dude, another great week of boxing coming up. I'm looking at the odds down here in Australia, and I'm looking at some of the offerings. Man, we're going to, yeah, I don't want to jump the gun too much because it's only Tuesday, and we've only covered on my channel, I've only covered the Maxi Hughes and Archie Sharp fight in terms of analyzing it. I'm currently uploading the Terry Harper and Zimmerman fight, along with Angelo Leo versus Tomoki, which is a firefight. So guys, wherever you're tuning in, please remember to like this whenever you're catching it. If you're catching on the live stream, I appreciate you. Remember to like the video, comment, ask your questions. We have a big week of boxing. There's cards in Japan. There's cards in the US. There's a card in Scotland. There's a card in the UK. And if you haven't caught my uploaded analysis and breakdown of Maxi Hughes versus Sharp, check that out. It's in the playlist. What's up, Cedric? Appreciate you. How those picks looking? What are you guys looking at? I think there's a lot of, you know what, with these English cards, with these British fights, Don Julio in the house, it's almost like this is going to be one of those weeks that we have to check ourselves and not get greedy, because you guys know how gambling is. When you've been on a roll, when you're hitting all the time, it's like I can't miss. And the last thing I want to do is lead you guys astray, because we are on a roll. But man, looking at these odds they're giving me, man, I'm more confident going into this week with my parlay, because we're building it together, than last week. I mean, last week our biggest stresses were the Conway fight, which he won by stoppage, and then the Haruta fight, which she looked great at. Julio wants to know your thoughts on Josh Taylor. I think he might be done for real. Guys, we do know Taylor. What's up, Crispy? We do know Taylor's fighting at 147 against Essuman. I think Taylor, Scottish champ, I don't know if he's done. He has had a mixed bag as of late. We talked about it yesterday on our live stream, how much of that has to do with going into fights injured or going into fights leaving it all in the gym. Rumor is he's one of those guys who just sometimes his coaches have to pull him back. And that is a thing in boxing. You could overtrain, and it's important to have guys around you, a team around you, to say, hey, mate, you're leaving it all in the gym. Save some for fight night. We'll see what happens. I think put it this way, a healthy Josh Taylor at 147 beats Essuman. And those odds right now, I have them at $1.36. So what I'm doing is I got to make sure that I don't wait. Because if you remember last week, all of you guys who picked, when we picked Haruta on Wednesday at $1.28, by Friday, Haruta was $1.09. So I'm guessing that the Josh Taylor odds, I'm guessing the Angelo Leo odds, and I'm guessing the Maxi Hughes odds are probably going to go down the longer we wait. But I want, just to play it safe, we're building this parlay. I talked about you guys yesterday. We got some locks. What's up, guys? I don't know, like I said, to answer your question, I don't think Josh Taylor's done. I have faith in him. I don't think, this is a very proud fighter. You guys know all about the Scottish. This guy's going to want to put on a show, and it's going to be in front of his people. I think we're going to see a good, I think some people might be surprised about what version we see. I'm expecting, I've been watching his training, go to his Instagram, everything he's been saying, the British boxing media, they're expecting a good version of him, and we'll see. At this stage of both guys' careers, I kind of put Taylor in the same kind of category as Maxi Hughes regarding where they are in their career in relationship to them both wanting big world title fights again. And so the one thing that we have to probably believe, they're going to both be motivated. They don't seem like guys that are going to go in unmotivated. But time will tell. What do you guys like? And you're betting on Maxi or Sharp? I think Maxi Hughes, you know what? I like Maxi Hughes in this fight. Everything I've seen on Archie Sharp. Go look at Archie Sharp versus Arce. Sharp fought Arce at 130, got dropped twice. Didn't really show me too much. I don't think Sharp does anything at 135 better than Maxi Hughes. I think Maxi Hughes, world-class opponents. When you look at the guys he's fought, he shared the ring with, we know about the Kambosos Jr. fight. Didn't go his way. Every time he stepped up, he's been on the short end. But, and even the El Cameron fight, he got stopped. But you got to think, you take things from those losses. And I just don't think Archie Sharp, when the fight gets going, he has anything to pull from. I just think Maxi Hughes is a better fighter. I'm high on Moses. Yeah, 100%. I'm definitely taking Moses. I'm waiting till the week progresses, David, to see if we could get a prop on that. But there's just something about him that tells me he ain't got a chin. He has a brother named Carol who fought at 75 and got chinned by a total cab. Brothers and brothers, about time he moved up. Lots of pressure in home fights. I feel you. Josh Taylor can beat Barrios. Yeah, I haven't given up on Josh Taylor. he's very skilled and he knows his way around a ring. Do you think Leo is a lock? 100%. I love Angelo Leo. I just watched an interview with him. He's coming off a great knockout. He's fighting a tough Japanese fighter in Japan, and the Japanese guy has a Tomoki has a lot of, Tomoki's trained in Mexico. He's from Japan. He has a lot of knockouts on his record. We know Angelo Leo could crack. Right now, I'm looking at those odds. I'm only giving you my money line parlay so far. I definitely have Leo on there. I got him at $1.23. But as the week progresses, and I'm going to give you guys every week, guys, I give you my money line. I'm going to give you my lock of the week. I'm going to give you my method of victory. I'm really leaning towards an Angelo Leo stoppage on the method of victory parlay, not my full parlay. So some of you guys followed me last week, and you added one of the fighters. I think you added a stoppage, and you didn't get it with Boacek. So my advice to you going into this week, when you're building your long parlay, just do money lines. If anything, just do money lines and then save the stoppage method of victories for a separate parlay. Because the last thing you want to do is win your 8 fights, go into the Boacek fight, needing a stoppage, and you don't get it. And it kind of ruins the whole thing. Moses odd way too high over here. Yeah, $1.02. I'm hoping we get a stoppage method of victory there. David Angelino. Yeah, I think Leo beats him. Leo's a stud, guys. At 126 pounds, you got Angelo Leo, Rafa Espinoza. We know Leo's a two-weight world champion. In my opinion, I think Angelo Leo's positioning himself for potential. You got to think the Japanese people. He goes on and puts a great performance in Japan. We know about it. It'd be hard pressed not to say that you can't throw Naoya Inoue's name against Leo in Japan. If Naoya keeps pressing, he wants to go to 26. I know a lot of rumors are he's going to wait for Junto to move up to 22. But time will tell. The ball is in Angelo's court. If you haven't watched this kid fight, he's all the deal. He carries himself like a professional. He says all the right things. He does all the right things. He's a really good young fighter. And there's not a lot to not like about him. So I'm high on Angelo Leo. I think he's McGregor's going to win about you. Yeah, I have that in my notes. I'm currently studying Nathaniel Collins versus McGregor because those are good odds. Collins got 1 loss. McGregor, I think, is undefeated. And I'm not going to give you my prediction yet, but I'm going to break down that video tomorrow, and I'll upload it. And then during the live stream, I'll let you know. Because right now I have Collins at $1.50 and McGregor at $2.80, which is like those are insane. But I think a lot of that has to do with where that fight's taking place, where the money's at. Tomoku's never been stopped. What makes you think Leo's? You never know. I mean, I'm just talking about style versus style. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to the method of victories, a lot of times those are the parlays that I'm going to take. I'm going to bet a little less to win a little more. So I call them fun parlays. Everybody with his style of fighting and versus Leo, I think that the stoppage wouldn't be too far to think, I don't think that's too out of the realm of possibility. I'm not going to commit to that yet, but just stay in touch. Walcott, fellow 3D. I know a lot of you 3D guys are in here. I appreciate you guys. Something else I noticed too, Richard Rakapo stopped a dude in 4 rounds and went the distance with the Utoma. I don't know, man. Yeah, he's young though, man. David, Moses is young. He's still figuring things out. He's far from a finished product. When people get really excited about younger fighters, the heavyweights, they get excited about potential. They get excited about one-punch knockout power, whatever it may be. And I think Moses has a lot of room to grow, and I think that a lot of that excitement has to do with that rather than him being a finished product. And, I mean, he's really young. I think people will take him to win by stoppage. He told me then he lets us down like Boacek did. Yeah, you guys picked Boacek to win by stoppage. But also, I'm uploading the Terry Harper versus Natalie Zimmerman fight. I think the sports book would be crazy to give us a method of victory on that, because I think Zimmerman is, even though her record might not show it, but she hasn't really fought anybody. Terry Harper's only losses are to Sandy Ryan and Alicia Bumgarner. And Terry Harper's fought all over the shop in terms of weight classes. She's a really good fighter. She has a lot of good skills. This fight's at 135, and we've seen her go up in weight. We've seen her go down in weight. I think she's going to walk straight through Zimmerman, and I'm waiting for them to give us a method of victory. Like I said, I'm taking Terry on my money line, but I'm always thinking ahead later in the week for method of victory. Looking for a stoppage. Last week we called 2 of them. We called Fernando Vargas by stoppage, got him at $1.56. And we also called Conway by stoppage at $1.95. Those 2-on-1 parlay pays you 4-1. So that's why I'm thinking ahead. And if it comes down to it, the Angelo Leo, you never know, man. I think that, like I said, Yamoki's style, the way he fights, I think he's going to be there to get hit. And I like what I'm seeing with Leo. I like the energy he's showing. Y'all need to move from Boacek. I know. Let's move past from Boacek. I agree. What do you think about over on Sharp and Hughes? 79 pros. I'm not really, like, I don't like betting overs on boxing. I know a lot of you guys do. I don't, when I'm thinking about betting over and unders, I'm more comfortable betting my money lines, the money line parlays. The over and unders, I think it'll add juice to your ticket, but I'm not the guy to ask. I wouldn't be able to give you a good answer or give you a confident answer strictly because I don't bet over and unders. You think over and under Sharp Hughes fight? I mean, if anything, considering their knockout to win ratio, what's the over and under? Is it? I think it's a 10-round fight. With 7.5. You know, both guys, you probably would pick the over, but I mean, then again, the stoppage happens, your whole ticket's ruined. Just take his money line parlays. But yeah, there you go, Frank B. Yeah, we're on a roll. 31 in a row. That's live to hit. Sharper Hughes money line. Maxi Hughes wins that fight. Have you checked out Nick Gers yet? 23-2 pro. I'm not Nick Gers. Write that name down. He tells me every live. When's he fight again? When's Nick Gers fight again? Sometimes money lines aren't worth it, even when the odds are like, yeah, I get it as well. But then don't bet it. You know, if a money line's $1.02, you get $2 on 100. Why risk it? The juice isn't worth the squeeze. But if it's floating around like the $1.10, $1.14 area, and you got 6 of them, you can get 2-3 to 1 money. And then a lot of the fights. That's why I like whoever brought up the McGregor fight in Colin. That's why I like that. I like the McGregor fight and another fight nobody's talking about. It's a rematch in Mexico. Is Wilibaldo Garcia Perez versus Rene Bibiano. Wilibaldo Garcia Perez versus Bibiano. It's in Mexico. It's a rematch. The scorecards in the first fight were all over the shop. One judge had a 118-10 one way, the other had it the other way, and it was a draw. And right now that money is at $1.77 for Garcia Perez and $2.20 for Rene. So don't get it twisted. I'm probably going to put one of those on my parlay too to juice up those odds, and we'll just have to roll the dice on that. But I'll let you know we're building it. It's only Tuesday here in Sydney. It's Monday where you guys are in America. Later in the week, we'll be getting to the locks. Currently, we're in the building stages. I'm 100% confident on our parlay with Hughes. I'm 100% confident on our parlay with Terry Harper. I think Angelo Leo beats Commodi, but you know I'm still uploading that video. I like Josh Taylor as well. I think Josh Taylor wins that fight. I think there's a lot of money to be made this week, and we made a lot of money last week. And hopefully you guys are gambling responsibly. You mentioned this on your other live. A lot of British fighters do something lame unless the fight is a total mismatch. Who do you think wins the rematch? Swindle, are we talking about the Mexican rematch? Over-under is part of the game, Johnny. It'd be some sleep. I get it. I didn't say it's not part of the game, Fresh. It's just I'm not comfortable on betting them. Some people love the over and unders. I know it's a very common bet, but not my style. Swindle, I really like, you know, I'm leaning towards Rene. But that's not my pick yet, Swindle. I'll be uploading that video tomorrow. I'm doing the upload of Wilibaldo versus Bibiano tomorrow. That was a draw the first match. I'm leaning towards Bibiano, but I'm not giving you not 100% yet. Nick Gers fights in February. Are you? You're crazy. I meant to say I mentioned I'm afraid of betting on British boxing. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a. If anything, lately I'm afraid to fight on Riyadh season boxing. It's those punk ass fucking Turkey Al-Sheikh cards that are kind of like suspect lately. I'm doing really well in Britain. I'm doing really well in Australia. I'm doing really well in Japan with the Japanese fights. To be honest with you, it's those Turkey Al-Sheikh Riyadh season cards lately where you kind of don't know which way to go. But I mean, that's what makes boxing boxing. Bibiano Perez, Lovely Panda. I'm leaning, like I said. Lovely Panda, if you're just catching this now, I'm kind of leaning towards Bibiano right now. Riyadh always has an upset. I like it. I like the cards; they're exciting. But in terms of gambling, I never really go heavy on the Riyadh season cards. I pour a lot of more money on the Australian domestic fights. My hit ratio on the Australian domestic fights are crazy, and then the British fights as well. On my money line parlays. Now, like I said, guys, when I don't hit. Those are going to be my method of victory parlays. I like loading up on the method of victories, but when I do hit, we hit 22-1 last Wednesday on 2 stoppages. And 3 weeks before that, we hit 4 stoppages. I think it was 13-1. So that's the thing. I don't like combining method of victories with money lines on one ticket. That's my whole point. That was almost the last straw for me. Just left the gym. What's up, GOAT? Yeah, I just deadlifted earlier. I got my sumo deadlifts in and some back squats. Ryan lost. I ain't been that happy since Kell Brook beat Amir Khan. What do you think about the Collins McGregor? Lovely Panda. We're talking about that fight. I'm kind of leaning towards McGregor. I'm still analyzing the fight. It's only Tuesday here. in Australia. I'll be uploading the Collins McGregor. There's great odds. It's almost a 2-to-1 money on both sides. And right now I'm leaning, that's not my pick, but I'm leaning towards McGregor. And if you take McGregor and Bibiano on the same money line parlay, we're going to get some really good odds. So I'm excited about the end of the week to tell you guys where to put your money. Riyadh cards are harder to be on because Turkey don't care about, Turkey, he loves Shiraz. Guys, wherever you're tuning into this, could you please like this video? It's a live stream, so the way the lives work with their algorithm, if you like it, it'll pop up on people's feeds that like boxing. Also, comment, let me know who you like, or questions. Stay tuned to the channel. I uploaded my breakdown already of Maxi Hughes and Archie Sharp. I'm currently uploading Terry Harper versus Zimmerman. And then we just got a busy week. 4 cards throughout. The big cards are in Japan, Mexico, 1 in the UK, 1 in Scotland. And, so there's a lot of money to be made, a lot of boxing to watch. That's Cap 7. Ajagba beat Bacoli. I think Adames beat Shiraz. We covered that fight. Shiraz was... I'm just glad that they didn't take Adames' belt. And, Shiraz moved up to 168 fighting Berlanga. That's an interesting fight. What do you think about Canelo and Bud? David, I'm always thinking about that fight. I've been thinking about Canelo and Bud for the last year and a half. I'm a big fan of both guys. I'm a bigger fan of Terrence Crawford, just the way he goes about his business, what he's done in his career. All the shit he had to go through early on in his career, how he would travel to the UK, him being a full-weight world champion. But Canelo, you could say the same thing. It's going to be an interesting fight. Read my whole comment. I said unless it's one of his guys. That's why I'm not going to bet on Berlanga unless it's by knockout. BS, that's a good idea, David. Yeah, Berlanga versus Shiraz is an interesting fight. I wasn't sold on Shiraz before the Adames fight. I took Adames to beat him. I thought he beat him. I thought Shiraz was maybe a little bit rushed into that fight, and I think he's probably being a little bit pushed quick. I don't know. I don't know if he's ready for Berlanga at 168. That's all I'm going to say. A confident fighter, a confident knockout artist is a dangerous guy. And, maybe call it what you will, call it narcissism, call it delusional. But even though Berlanga lost to Canelo, he's more confident. So it just sides with when I watch him speaking, when I'm watching him training, he's as confident now as he's ever been. And not everybody who loses a fight leaves with confidence like that guy does. So, like I said, sometimes in boxing, you got to be delusional. I don't know if Shiraz really has that mental game in terms of, I just haven't... I don't know. I'm not that sold on Shiraz. On paper, I see why people like him. His physique, the size, his height, his reach. But I just think he's a bit choppy with how he goes about his business. I don't think he does one thing extremely well. It's going to be a good fight. I'm interested to see the odds. Berlanga versus Shiraz. They don't have them up here. If you guys seen any of those odds, let me know. Berlanga stop Shiraz. Same here about Hamza. Super Matias might just show up on the night. I'm a Matias guy. We talked about it. Matias versus Puello. That's a great fight. We talked about it yesterday. Super Matias is a guy who's dangerous. We know what he wants to do. But, guys, Alberto Puello is a hell of a boxer. Slick southpaw. He's a mover. He could keep it up throughout the whole fight. I was sold on Puello after he beat Gary Antoine Russell. I think he's too flat-footed, too slow for Puello. I think so, too. And I don't think Puello's going to play his game. I think the only way Puello loses to Matias if he plays that game with him. Not going to be able to handle Berlanga. I don't think he will swindle. I agree with you. Isn't Taylor in the pen? Which Taylor are we talking about in the pen? Somebody got locked up? Are we talking about Jermaine Taylor? Pavlik knocked out? We going back to the mid-2000s? False confidence is a real thing. He lost every round versus Canelo. No way he's confident. Matias versus Puello, best fight on that card. Like I said, I'm a big fan of that card. And guys, if you're new to the channel, I say thank you. If you're one of these guys asking me for predictions about fights that haven't happened, I'll give you my idea about it, but I'm not committing to it until I do my proper due diligence. I watch all of their fights. I know their careers, but I like analyzing it bit by bit. And until we get to fight week, wait until fight week, whatever fight card you're asking about, and I'll give you my full-on prediction. Right now, we know what we have ahead of us. We can't skip the queue too much. Any questions about these fights this week, let me know, and then keep them coming. I appreciate all the support, guys. The channel's growing. Wherever you're tuning into the world, I say thank you. Sydney, Australia. We might be I don't know if there's anybody else in Australia doing these, so you guys are making the page grow, so I thank you. And remember to like this video, comment, and let me know if you want me to feature a fight, a breakdown. Pacheco versus McCumbee is a fight I'm looking forward to. That's a good matchup. Just came, drop a like. Been following a lot of boxing channels for years. Not too many match your work ethic. Thank you, Curtis Robinson. Comments like that is why I do what I do. I appreciate you. Demian Kamei, Puello gets the win for me. I like it. Puello, I can see Puello by decision for sure. I wonder what that pays. David Easter, he has to have a CT, but it's like we never hear about Taylor. I know, man. And when you talk about Styles making fights, you look at some of the guys that Taylor beat and the guys that Taylor lost, and then you look at Kelly's performance against B-Hop and Kelly's performance against Sergio, and it's kind of like, granted, those fights, he fought B-Hop, I think, at 168. And I remember after that B-Hop fight, he turned to Kelly and said, stay at 160. But yeah, Styles make fights. Jermaine Taylor, for a while, there were versions of Jermaine Taylor. People were talking about one of the all-time greats. And then he just couldn't get the job done against Pavlik in Atlantic City. So yeah, we know how quick the career could change on a dime like that. But man, what a talent he was. He has to have a CT. I'm from Jermaine Taylor, Arkansas. I met him. He definitely went crazy from CT. I didn't know that. That's unfortunate. Is he still locked up? I think McCumbee could pull off the upset. Maxi Hughes or Archie. Moving. I like Maxi Hughes. I think Maxi Hughes is a level above Archie Sharp. It's at 135 pounds. I think Maxi Hughes believes he still could fight for a title. I think all of that. I broke down that fight though. Moving. Go to the playlist. You can see my analysis and prediction thoroughly. But I like Hughes right now. And right now the money line's $1.26. I'm confident to put that as one of my lock of the weeks. But we're going to wait till later in the week. But Cumbie went from a plus 900 to a plus 750. You think Sharp is winning? Good luck to you. Sell me on it. And how does Sharp beat Maxi Hughes? I'd like for you to tell me that. The Sharp that I watched, the Sharp that I know, the kid who got dropped twice against Arce, and the second round looked like he was out. I just don't see him doing anything better than Maxi Hughes. I looked at his resume, what he does in the pocket, what Maxi Hughes does, the pressure he puts on, that style. I think he's going to be too much for Sharp, and I'm comfortable with the money line. I wouldn't even go too far to say that, even though Hughes doesn't have a lot of knockouts on his resume, based on his world-class style and his pressure, I just think he's going to be too much for Sharp. But that's just my opinion. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I respect your opinion. All right, guys. We got the only money line. Let's talk about a money line on Angelo. Yeah, I won't talk about money lines yet. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up from now. I got a lot of work to do on my end. I'm going to be uploading the Terry Cooper versus I'm going to be uploading the Terry Harper versus Natalie Zimmerman video today and the Angelo Leo versus Tomoki video. I appreciate all the support, and stay tuned to the channel.